What's up guys, I'm Joe. Today I want to talk to you about room tone, or presence sometimes known as. Each room or space has its own unique sound characteristics depending on the scale, the furnishing, and even how far you're away from the ceiling and walls when you're doing the recording. As an example, I'm doing this recording inside my room, which hasn't got any carpets or insulation on the walls. So when I speak, there should be a fair bit of reflections coming off the wall to create this unique sound that you're hearing inside this particular space. Of course, I can add effects afterwards to make it sound like I'm in a much bigger space or environment than it actually is. But in some rooms, it can be particularly bad and obvious. Like I'm inside my kitchen now, which hasn't got any carpets and all the walls are tiled. So there's a huge amount of reflections coming off the walls when I speak. And compared to my living room, with the carpets, sofas and curtains, the sound characteristics of this particular room should sound different once again. Now normally I do my voiceover recordings using my trustworthy Blue Yeti microphone. It sounds excellent as it is, but I thought maybe I can try and improve the sound quality just that little bit more by building a portable sound booth. Let's start by taking a look at what we need to build this portable sound booth. I've looked at different YouTube videos for inspiration and came across many different DIY style projects, but there's one particular that stood out to me, which was the Portabooth Pro by Harlan Hogan. Sorry if I pronounced the name wrong. Only slight problem with that is, it costs $349. That's £225 for you and me. That one has extra cutouts for microphone stands, carrying straps, LED lights, but there's no way I can afford to pay over £200 for that. And there isn't one around for me to try out, even if it is that good. There are many different sizes and shapes of acoustic foams that you can get on the internet. I found these on eBay. They measure 380 by 380mm and has a thickness of 30mm. They come in a pack of 6 for a total price of £20.50 including delivery. I chose this particular one because it matched the box that I was going to use, saving me to cut one of the corners. The reason why I was inspired by the Portabooth Pro was because it looked kind of like one of those IKEA DRÖNA boxes, which I have a spare one. But even if I were to buy one, they only cost £2.50, meaning that my total build cost will come to £23 instead of £200, almost 10 times less. Hopefully it will not make my audio recordings 10 times more rubbish by going for the cheaper option. Another great feature of the IKEA box is that it fits my Blue Yeti microphone exactly, and it's also collapsible if I ever need to take it traveling with me. Or I can store the microphone in the box and keep it away from the dust when I'm not using it. The single tool that you need for this build is a bread knife. It's much easier to cut the foam using this type of knife. The build is ultra simple. I didn't really have a plan and just went for it. I started by shoving a panel in for the left and right hand side, and just chopped the excess by using the bread knife. Remember that I said the foam I got matched one of the sides of the IKEA box perfectly? Here you can see that I didn't need to cut it. It was much easier because only one side was sticking out. I started off by building the two side panels, which will ultimately hold the top panel in place later on. To cut the bottom piece, I temporarily took the two side panels out and measured the excess by using a new panel. I then stuck some tape on it just so I can see where to cut along the edge. It doesn't have to be that accurate, since the foam can be squished into place anyway, so I deliberately left a bit more than what I have measured, so I can be sure it fits tightly. I just placed the foam along the edge of the table and used that as a ruler when cutting. Once that's done, shove it back into the box to cut the excess off the front again, just like the side panels. Still working on the piece for the bottom, I put the two side pieces back in and measured the excess for the bottom piece. It might sound a bit confusing, but hopefully you will eventually see what I'm trying to achieve here. And here is how the bottom piece will fit in, along with the two side panels. This should hopefully stop the two side pieces from moving around. Next, I'm going to flip the box around and work on the top panel. I'm going to do the same again like the bottom piece. However, I will make this piece a bit bigger than the bottom one, so that it can sit on the two side panels. Otherwise, it could potentially fall down by its own weight. Once that's done, I will remove all the panels and put the foam back in once again to cut off the excess pieces. The top panel is now complete, but we need to cut a small bit on both of the two side panels to make them fit because of the increased thickness from the top panel. It should be fairly obvious how much to cut off if you simply place it against the other pieces, then just cut the excess off. We are almost done at this stage. All we need to do is grab another new piece of acoustic foam and place it against the 4 completed sides. Place it against the front, measure or just trust your eyes, and start cutting away. Once that's done, put it against the front to cut off the remaining excess bit. Shove the back panel in, and the acoustic box is complete. The entire voiceover that you just heard was done by using my new DIY portable sound booth. So that you can hear a difference, I will now record another piece without the use of the DIY portable sound booth, so you can hear the difference hopefully. I am recording this using a Blue Yeti microphone. The volume has been set around halfway mark point, and that's not going to change. I am using it inside my new DIY portable sound booth. Hopefully you will be able to hear the sound difference when I take it out of the box. This is the same recording. I haven't stopped it or paused it or changed the volume. It has been placed on the desk outside of the booth. Hopefully you will be able to hear the sound quality difference being placed outside of the sound booth. I can see on the screen that it produces a little bit more noise. I think it's picking it up from the desk, even though there isn't like fan or hard drive noises coming from the computer, but the microphone is so sensitive that I can see a tiny little bit of noise floor. So what I'll do is I'll just be quiet for a moment to see if you can hear it. Now what I will do is place the microphone back into the sound booth, and then hopefully again you will be able to hear a clearer difference now that I'm comparing it directly without cutting it. Now the microphone has been placed inside the booth again, so hopefully you will instantly notice how the sound is much cleaner or tighter. Not sound too much like it's been placed inside a box, which some people have commented on other videos. But personally, I think it makes quite a bit of a difference to the sound and definitely reduces like the computer noises that it picks up before. And hopefully this is a nice little cheap DIY project for you guys. And here's my conclusion. I think the DIY portable sound booth worked really well considering how cheap it was and easy to make. Hopefully you can tell from the recording and comparison that I just did that when the microphone was placed inside the box, it sounded much cleaner and tighter without sounding too much like it was inside a box, and still give it a nice, clean, deeper sound to the audio compared to when it was outside and being just simply placed on the desk, where it picked up a lot of the hard drive vibrations from the computer and it just sounded thinner, which I didn't really notice beforehand because when I bought the Blue Yeti microphone, I thought it sounded great straight out of the box, and I never really took notice of how the room reflected on the sound. But then it suddenly dawned on me that there was reflections coming off the walls, and I think, especially comparing it now with the microphone placed inside the box with the acoustic foam inside, it really makes quite a bit of difference, and I really like it because again, this was such a cheap little DIY job and it doesn't really take up any space, and I can actually keep my microphone protected inside it when I don't need it. So all in all, I think it was a great success, and if you like it, so hopefully this will help you to make your own version, but some people might not like the sound of it sounding so tight and like a box, but personally I think it works well for my use. So hope you liked it.